With summer coming, we want to talk about summer workwear, and with me to talk more about that is Nordstrom stylist Erica Hanley, and you put a few looks together to get us started, right?
I sure did, yes.
Oh my gosh, and I understand that all of these summer styles too are Nordstrom's namesake brand. Tell me about it.
Yes, so they're Nordstrom namesake or they're Open Edit, which is also a Nordstrom brand, and they're all under $200, but they're great elevated basics that'll really complete your warm weather wardrobe.
Everyone's looking for a capsule closet. Like I hear this all the time.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of people that come to you for that?
All the time, especially if they travel a lot. They just really want something that like they can pack the minimal amount but have the biggest impact.
I know, and I'm noticing right now already you have stuff that wouldn't wrinkle for traveling,
Correct.
which is so important. So we're gonna get through the looks that you styled, starting with silhouettes first up. So what should be considered here?
Okay, so it's summer, we know it's warm outside, but then you go to the office and it's always freezing cold.
True.
Right?
AC.
So I always say, like, consider silhouettes. You don't necessarily want something that's too tight outside where you like feel like you're hot and claustrophobic maybe, but something that's a little bit more relaxed. So here we have a button up. This is probably something you were wearing as a shirt in the winter time, but now transition it to almost like a third piece. Think of like a blazer. And so it's just relaxed. It's something cozy you can just throw on and go. And then you want something a little more fitted underneath to offset that oversized shape on the outside.
And then what would you do with like a pant with that? Because it's like oversized, tight, like.
Correct. So here we have a cropped jean, which is a really versatile piece. So a lot of times people are like, what shoes am I wearing with my wide leg? What shoe am I doing with my skirt? This jean is a universal length. So you can do a heel, which is what I have it with here. You could do a sandal and you can do a sneaker. And the reason is because the bottom of the hem is never gonna touch the shoe. So you just get a lot of flexibility.
Oh, I love that length because I feel like for short girlies like me, that would actually be a perfect look. Okay, up next too, you're talking about fabrics and textures. This power suit, you guys, what?
So pinstriping, beautiful, a little bit of details, and then the juxtaposition with that shiny shirt underneath kind of gives you a little bit of like a dress-up feel, but you're still in that summer material. So you get a little bit of play. So we have the linen next to something shiny, and it just feels a little bit more visually interesting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, sometimes suits can be a little off-putting. We are in Seattle, not everyone needs a suit every day.
True.
So you have some styling options. You can always think of it as separates. So if you wanted to do the pant by itself, you could add a vest.
Ooh, and you have something like this on right
sure
now.
do. So mine's from Nordstrom's brand, and this is from Open Edit. And again, I don't know if you can see the texture on it, but it has that weave of like a linen, so it's lightweight.
Right.
But again, just like really visually pretty next to the stripes, and a nice way to add a block of color.
Definitely. Okay, and if you wanted to swap out the pant then, what would you do with something like that?
Great question. So you could do a blue jean. You could also do a white pant and go for like a more monochromatic moment, maybe swap that black tank out for a white tank, because we always do black on black in the winter, but you can easily do white on white in those warmer months.
Okay, and then what are you doing for shoes as well with something like this?
So typically if it's a wider leg pant, I like it to be floor skimming. So we're really elongating your shape. Here I have a pointed toe ballet flat, and that's gonna create the illusion of a longer leg.
Okay, pointed toe is your friend for us shorties. Layers, thinking in layers.
Yes.
So what are we talking about for our third look?
So counterintuitive, right? Because it's summer, you're like, why do I need layers?
I know, true. But you mentioned earlier the AC and going in and out.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
So a lot of my gals keep like cardigans stashed in their desk drawers, but this year I'm encouraging them to think in like lightweight V-necks. So you can do a crew neck underneath, you're getting a little bit of a pop of color, and it's just creating like a nice cohesive look. We have a skirt styled here, but of course if the skirt feels a little limiting, you could always swap it out for a jean, which is everyone's go-to, or you could do a chino.
Oh, that's cute.
Right.
And great to take like day to night too. I feel like both of these looks you could actually, if you had a date night after work, it's not just your typical boring like workwear. It's very elevated.
Absolutely. And like if you wore this with a sandal, it would feel more day wear. Wear it with a heel, you have that date night.
Yeah. Talk about the skirt too, because the skirt is silky, like the textures are different that you're also doing with this layering as well.
Kind of notice all these tips build on itself. So like we had silhouettes. Again, we're kind of playing into silhouettes here and then kind of tying back to the texture from here. We're doing like lightweight with something silky. So the silky can feel a little bit elevated, sometimes a little inaccessible. So I always like to pair it back to something casual so it feels like it can really take you from day to night.
Perfect. Okay, and then next up, our last look that you have here. I love a baby blue moment.
Right.
Keep it contemporary. What do you mean by this?
So I'm always encouraging people to think in like current silhouettes. So we have a great closet, right? But sometimes it's nice to add a few pieces that make it feel current. So here you'll see there's a lightweight V-neck cardigan underneath. And so she's lightweight, you can wear her outside, it's not gonna be too hot. But instead of like using it as a layering piece like you might hear, think of it as a shirt. Because she's light, she's pretty. We're going back to those silhouettes where it's fitted underneath. So you have that oversized blazer, but still nice and slim underneath. Similar to what you're doing, so.
I'm on trend. You can say that again. It's okay.
You did great.
You're doing great, sweetie. And then the pop of color with the shoes.
Yes. Yeah, it's spring. Everyone wants a little bit of color. And so sometimes if color feels a little bit intimidating, I always recommend start with the shoe.
And a bag, like a statement bag.
Exactly.
That could be a moment too.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize too that you guys have free styling appointments. So
sure
tell
do.
everyone about that too.
You can book us online or in store, and we're here to help you. You tell us your budget and what you're looking for, and we make it happen.
Sometimes styling appointment like it's going to be too expensive, but it's not, right?
No, you set the expectations and we deliver.
Okay, and we talked about jeans. I always
Yes.
want to talk about this, like what jean length, what trend is having a moment right now?
So pretty much anything goes. We're starting to see like a little bit more tapered, think like 90s style mom jeans.
Ooh.
But the wide legs haven't gone anywhere, straight legs aren't going anywhere. It's just kind of a free for all. And it really comes down to your footwear of choice. So if you prefer a heel, a wide leg is gonna look great. If you want versatility, maybe do something a little bit more cropped. If you want something a little fitted, then do something tapered. But that's where styling experts come in to help you.
Like you, which we so enjoy. And I always talk about like a pointed heel to elongate, but you
Yes.
said you can do a flat too, right? So
Yes.
they're having a moment.
Yes, flats are not going anywhere, particularly Mary Jane's. We had that pointed toe heel a lot in the winter, and now we're seeing it transition into a ballet flat.
Oh my gosh. Erica, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your amazing looks. We so appreciate it. I could talk shopping and fashion forever.
You and me together.
Okay, then we're gonna be here.